Picture this. It's 6:30 p.m., you're exhausted, the kids are blowing up your phone asking what's for dinner, and all you want is to get home, shower, and switch off. You walk up to your shiny future of driving EV, tap the handle, and the dashboard hits you with 9% battery. Not enough to get home, not enough to ignore. Instead of heading toward your family, you're crawling to a lonely charger behind a grocery store, sliding into a line of other tired people who also thought this car would make life easier, not longer. You were told this was the future. Silent, clean, high-tech. Plug in for 15 minutes, grab a coffee, done. Instead, you're standing in the cold, tapping a frozen app that won't connect while your kids microwave leftovers without you. The screen says 50 minutes remaining. You scroll social media and see another ad promising fast charging, low maintenance, big savings. You look at your watch and wonder, savings for who exactly? Zoom out, and it's not just you. Across America in 2025 and 2026, EV headlines are confusing. On one side, record sales, more models, big government incentives. On the other, owners venting about broken chargers, shocking insurance quotes, brutal depreciation, and a system that seems perfectly designed for wealthy homeowners and painfully unfinished for everyone else. Public charging satisfaction is slipping, with new research showing only about 78 to 86% of chargers are truly reliable, meaning nearly 1 in 5 visits still fails or has a serious issue. So what is actually going on with electric cars in America? Are they the future? Or are regular people being used as beta testers for an experiment that isn't ready? In this video, we will explore the topic of harsh truths about EVs in America. By the end, you'll know whether an EV makes sense for your life or whether the green future is quietly draining your time, your money, and your sanity. Number 8, the fast charging fantasy. Ads promise 80% in 15 minutes, as if you're refueling a phone. In reality, most American drivers see 30-45 minutes on a DC fast charger just to get from a low battery to around 80%, and that's when everything works. Charging speed doesn't care about your schedule. It depends on battery temperature, how full it already is, the charger's real output, how many cars share it, and even the weather. Cold conditions alone can cut charge rates by 30-50%, and near 80%, the car automatically slows down to protect the battery. That's how a quick stop on a work night quietly becomes 40, 50, even 70 minutes. Gas stations are boring but predictable. With fast charging, every stop is a gamble, and for parents, shift workers, and commuters, that gamble often costs time with family, sleep, or overtime pay. Number 7, broken chargers, broken patience. Public chargers in the US are only about 78-86% reliable, depending on region and network. In practice, that means roughly 1 in 5 charging attempts runs into serious trouble, dead screens, frozen apps, payment failures, connectors that won't start, or stations that trickle charge instead of fast charge. If 1 out of every 5 gas station visits failed, there'd be outrage. For EV drivers, it's become a grim routine. Pull in on 6% battery, discover half the stalls are broken, and start refreshing apps and calling hotlines. Reliability is improving in some metros, but big charging deserts and aging hardware still leave many Americans losing an hour, a shift, or a whole family trip to one bad station. So before we even talk about money, the first hidden cost of EVs for many people is simple: your time, your nerves, and your trust. Number 6, the insurance bill. If fast charging drains your time, insurance quietly drains your bank account. Many Americans only discover this after they've brought the car home. Recent data shows U.S. drivers pay, on average, about 49% more to insure an EV than a comparable gas car, roughly $4,000 a year versus about $2,700. In some states, full coverage EV insurance can be 70 to 90% higher, and in the worst cases, nearly double. Why? Under the sleek bodywork, EVs are expensive to fix. Battery packs and electronics are costly, heavy cars can cause more damage in crashes, and even minor hits can damage sensors or the battery area, pushing insurers to declare a total loss instead of repairing. For a retiree on a fixed income, that extra $1,000, $2,000 a year isn't a footnote, it's groceries, prescriptions, or heating. For middle-class families with 2 EVs, it can mean $800 to $1,200 every month just to keep both cars insured. People thought they were trading gas bills for savings. Instead, many feel like the savings just moved from the pump to the premium line on their statement. Number 5, the EV tax. Here is the surprise that nobody mentions on the dealership window. Extra EV fees at registration, more than 30 US. States now charge special annual fees on EVs to make up for lost gas tax revenue, often on top of regular registration. In some states, that fee is modest $50 to $100 a year. In others, it's brutal. Alabama, Texas, Ohio, Tennessee, and several more charge around $200 every year for an EV. Georgia is above $200. Indiana is around $230. New Jersey has moved to $250, and Texas can hit $400 on a new registration before you even pay standard plates. On paper, it's fairness for road funding. In real life, it's a gut punch. A working family that used to pay maybe $75 to register a gas car now hands over $250 or more just because they switched to electric. That extra couple hundred isn't abstract. It's school supplies, kids' sports fees, or a week of groceries. You were told EVs save money on gas. No one mentioned the DMV quietly sending you the bill for the difference. Number 4, the depreciation cliff. Gas cars lose value too, but most EV owners aren't ready for how fast it happens. Recent analyses of millions of used car sales show that, on average, EVs in the US are depreciating faster than comparable gas cars, with some studies finding EVs lose about 10 to 13 percentage points more value over 5 years than the overall market. In the first few years, many models are down 50 to 60% from their original price, versus roughly 40 to 50% for typical gas cars. Put that in real life. You buy an EV for $50,000. 2 to 3 years later, you go back to trade it in and hear, we can do 25, maybe 27. Half your future of driving has evaporated. Luxury EVs and hyped models can be even more brutal, with investigations showing some high-end electric cars losing close to 50% of their value in a single year once discounts, incentives, and new models hit. Why? Because EV tech is moving fast. Each year brings longer range, faster charging, and new incentives. A 2022 model with shorter range and slower charging suddenly looks like an old smartphone next to the latest release. Add buyer fears about long-term battery health and changing government rebates, and used EV demand stays weak. For middle-class families who finance these cars, that depreciation isn't just a number on a chart. It's the difference between having options in 3 years or being stuck upside down in a loan, owing more than the car is worth, cutting vacations and college savings just to keep the payments going. So what about you? Number 3, home charging. Here's a truth that almost never makes it into the ads. EVs work best if you have a private driveway, garage, and a decent electrical panel. For those people, charging at home is fantastic, cheap, convenient, and almost invisible. For everyone else, it can be a nightmare. First shock, installing a proper level 2 home charger isn't free. Between hardware and electrician labor, most US. Homeowners are paying roughly $900 to $3,000 up front, sometimes more if the electrical panel needs an upgrade or the charger is far from the panel. Second shock, tens of millions of Americans simply can't install one. Renters, apartment dwellers, and people with street parking often face building rules, fire codes, or old wiring that make home charging impossible. Even where it's allowed, landlords may refuse to pay for it. That leaves millions dependent on slower level 1 outlets, if they have one, or on public chargers that are more expensive and less reliable. For a homeowner with a garage, overnight charging at about $0.11 to $0.17 per kilowatt hours can make an EV cheaper to run than gas, saving hundreds of dollars a year. For a renter relying on public chargers at $0.25 to $0.6 per kilowatt hour, costs can double, and that's before you count the time spent driving to and waiting at chargers. This is the quiet new divide. Homeowners with driveways get the full EV dream. Everyone else pays more money, more time, and more stress to live in the same future. Number 2, the expectations trap. Here's the most human part of the story. A lot of Americans didn't buy an EV the way they'd buy any other $40,000 or $50,000 product. They bought it like they were joining a movement. Social media, government incentives, company town halls, even neighbors, everyone kept repeating the same promise: cleaner, smarter, cheaper in the long run. Surveys now show a split. Over 90% of current EV owners worldwide say they're generally satisfied, but a large share also admit that charging time, public charging stress, and long-term battery worries are serious pain points. In one major global survey, about 1/3 of EV owners said they were considering going back to a gas car next time, mainly because the day-to-day reality didn't match the sales pitch. In the US, studies from AAA and others find the same tension. EVs are cheaper to operate, less spent on fuel and maintenance, but still more expensive to own overall once you add purchase price, insurance, fees, and faster depreciation. So people did the right thing. They followed the ads, the incentives, the social pressure. They expected plug in, save money, feel good. Instead, many feel like they're paying to test a system that isn't fully built yet. That gap between promise and reality, the feeling of "I wasn't told the hard parts," is what turns excitement into regret. Number 1, is the EV future really for everyone? After all this, it's easy to say EVs are a scam, or EVs are perfect and critics are overreacting. The truth, like always, is messier. For the right person, steady income, own a house with a garage, decent local grid, strong charging options, an EV in 2026 can be fantastic. Quiet, quick, cheaper to run than gas, fewer oil changes and repairs, and genuinely lower emissions over its lifetime. Many owners absolutely love their cars and would never go back. But for millions of other Americans, especially renters, apartment dwellers, low to middle income families, and retirees, the story is different. Slower or unreliable public charging, higher insurance, extra registration fees, steep depreciation, a technology sold as universal progress that currently fits best if you already have money, property, and flexibility. So here's the real question this video has been building toward. Are EVs the problem, or is the problem that America tried to fast forward into a new system without building the roads, rules, and protections ordinary people would need to survive the jump? Because in the end, the middle class doesn't care about transition targets or corporate climate slides. They care about 3 things. Can I get to work on time? Can I afford the bill every month? And will this choice still make sense 5 years from now? If the answer to any of those is, "I'm not sure," it's no surprise people feel anxious, angry, or left behind in a future they... Would you buy an EV today knowing what you know now about charging time, broken stations, insurance, registration fees, and resale value? Or does it only make sense for you if something big changes first? Better chargers in your area, lower prices, stronger protections for owners? Drop your answer in the comments. And turn on the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive into how technology and the economy are really reshaping the middle class. If this video helped you see past the brochure and into the real everyday trade-offs of electric cars in America, hit like, subscribe to Globe Wisp, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive into how technology and the economy are really reshaping the middle class.